the doubt, they counting me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win, yeah. Refuse, mine, it can't be diffused. If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living at different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walked a mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool, chasing diamonds and jewels. Trust me, I was confused. Started minding my business and used my mind as a tool. Ended up finding my purpose and found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it. They told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie. I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me like told me keep on running toes, they gon' take them. Refuse to lose, built to win. Apply myself, I felt it in. No time for the doubt, they counting me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I pay for the cost, I'm winning to win, yeah. Refuse to lose, I'm built to win.
Welcome back to another episode of BWT. I'm your host, Teddy, and today we've got a guest, a very special guest. I reached out on Instagram, and she was nice enough to join me tonight to give you guys a little Yankee recap, and I'll be asking her a couple questions. Lauren, how are we doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing great. Glad you were able to join me tonight. Of course. So give the people a little introduction as to who you are, what you do on your social media platform and stuff like that.
So I am a content creator, and it's pretty simple. I just talk all about the Yankees and share news, updates, opinions, post-game recaps, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely look forward to those. I followed you about, I think, like two weeks to a month ago, and so it's been fun watching the daily recaps and all your little posts and stuff like that. So
Hate it.
yeah, no problem. So I mean, this season has been crazy.
Yeah.
What are some things that have surprised you this year with the Yankees?
I have to say the pitching. That was probably the thing that I was a little uneasy about once Cole got hurt. I was like, damn. Because pitching is what held us down last season. The offense is what we struggled with. And it was ironic because we needed more offense and we traded a lot of pitching for offense. And then once that happened, our number one guy got hurt. So it was just, I don't know, it was a little uneasy. So that was my biggest question mark coming into the season. But the pitching has held it down top to bottom. The starting pitching staff, the bullpen. I mean, honestly, all of them have just been really great this season. So I wouldn't say surprising, but maybe a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. The only guy that's doing bad is Nasty Nestor right now. He's got an ERA of over 4, but everybody else is incredible. Schmidt pitched his best game of his career today. 8 innings, 8 Ks, no earned runs. I was able to watch the game today, and man, he's off to a great start. 5-1, 2.49 ERA, 55 Ks, and 50.2 innings pitched. And then Rodon, I mean, he's probably been one of my biggest surprises with how he performed last year. I kind of knew that he was going to have a good season this year with how he came into spring training, just body shape wise and stuff like that. He looked like he really put in a lot of work in the off season. So I'm glad that contract is paying off right now because we paid him a lot of money to come here, and the way that he performed last year just wasn't it. And of course, you got Stroman, the hometown kid, and Luis Hill, right? That's probably the biggest shocker to me, to be honest. going into the season, he probably wasn't even part of the rotation.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy how that pans out, right? Like a lot of times you are dependent on like your biggest names, but sometimes it's just the guys that you didn't expect just kind of show up and end up just being these really dependent clutch guys for you. So, you kind of love when that happens because you're not expecting it. So, when things like that kind of come through, it's just like a edit, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, speaking of like guys you didn't think, Luke Weaver,
Yeah.
like he's off to a great start. 2.25 ERA, 30 Ks in 28 innings.
Yeah.
Can't say anything bad about that. And then we go to the offense. Uh, I mean, where do you want to start here?
I don't know. There's a lot of points that you can start with. You could start with Juan Soto just being Juan Soto. And I mean, listen, I that doesn't surprise me. I mean, this is the generational talent that everyone wanted and knew he was going to be what he is. So just to I feel like I'm kind of still in a way like still surprised that we have Juan Soto. I feel like I still wake up every day and I'm like, wait, Juan Soto is a Yankee? Like this is still crazy to me. But I think he has helped this team tremendously in so many ways on and off the fields. Um, so it's just great to have somebody like him in our lineup. And Aaron Judge, just now, I feel like he'll never say it that he's locked in. He's always just going to be like, no, I'm not there yet. But like I said on a post yesterday, like I'll say it for him. He's definitely locked in right now. He's just, the offense is just clicking all together. It's great. Volpe is doing great too. He's off to a great start. And can we just talk about Stan too? Because I feel like he doesn't get enough credit. I feel
Yes.
like he doesn't get the love he deserves. And we just need to talk about that for 1 second because his average is creeping up and I think he's at 9 home runs right now.
Yep.
I think Judge is at 10. So that kind of
Yep.
says a lot. He's been doing really well. So I feel like we need to give him some credit because he deserves it.
Definitely. Giancarlo he's been lights out with runners in scoring position. Um,
Yeah.
he's got 22 RBIs right now. OPS is 764. Um, Judge has 11 home runs, just third in the MLB. Just 2 weeks ago,
Yeah, that was crazy.
people were
I wa
going
I was not concerned one bit.
at all.
It's Aaron Judge. Like,
Exactly.
I'm never concerned about Aaron Judge. Like,
Exactly.
people will say it's a biased opinion because we're Yankees fans, but Judge is the best player in baseball. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah.
So I was not worried about him. Not at all. I was just, when is it gonna happen? I thought maybe, you know, but maybe it had something to do with his at bats during spring training. He didn't get as many, so I don't know. Is that a factor? Maybe, maybe not. But you know, either way, I wasn't worried about it.
Yeah. We got a comment coming in from my guy Dave. He said, "Welcome to BWT, Lauren." Uh,
Hi.
he has his own show called Dave's Doghouse, where he puts like if you're doing well during the week, he puts you to like roam around the yard, and if you're playing bad, you're in the doghouse. So and this week he actually did an episode where he's a Red Sox fan, by the way. He put the Yankees team as a dog. So that took a lot for him to do. But
Yeah.
I'm glad he did it. But yeah, I mean, and then Rizzo. I mean, nobody talks about Rizzo either or Verdugo. Like I've been
You good?
saying,
Yeah.
oh, I've been saying it all year. Like just the swag that came with Verdugo and Soto, like it's
Mhm.
incredible. Like one of the guys in the chat mentioned that if Steinbrenner was still here, he wouldn't allow that. I completely agree with that, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like the way that Soto reacted when he got that the the hit off of Hader in Houston to begin the year, like running down the line, pounding his chest. Everybody's barking in the clubhouse. Like it's just it's
Yeah.
honestly great to see because
Oh,
that I feel like last year they were lacking an identity offensively, and of course they had their injuries, right? But when they were there, just like, oh yeah, Judge hit a home run, cool. Like it was like there was nobody going crazy in the dugout or anything like that.
yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of love um for each other in this clubhouse, and I always have said that team chemistry is huge, and I honestly think it's an underrated thing. There's been a lot of free agents that teams or fans have wanted, and I've been against a lot of them because I felt like they wouldn't be good for the clubhouse. And people are like, "Yeah, who cares? Like, it doesn't really make a difference. Like, so someone's not great, but he's a great, pitcher, great hitter, but." Team chemistry is so huge, and I've interviewed a few players that have been on championship teams, and I've asked them about that, like what makes a championship caliber team, what is important, and they've all said chemistry. So I think that says a lot, and I think that it's not talked about enough. And obviously you have to be talented, you have to be doing well, but I think that brings it to the next level. If you have a great clubhouse and you're all rooting for each other and supporting each other, like that's
Hmm.
just take it to the next level. And I feel like they're also really leaning on each other too for, advice and stuff like that. I know one of the players is talking about getting advice about hitting from Soto, and like that's why I say I feel like he's just been such a huge impact on this team in so many ways. So yeah, I absolutely agree with you on, the clubhouse energy and vibe. Like it's next level this year. They're so supportive of each other, and I think that's huge. You know what I mean? Because you spend a season is 6 months long, so 6 months plus, spring training is a month, and if you go into the full postseason, that's 8 months long that you're spending day in and day out with each other.
Sure.
So I think that that makes a huge difference when you're just all like gelling.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Can't agree with you more there. I've played on a couple national championship teams in college, and that was the one thing that we had. We had each other's backs no matter what, no matter the deficit or who was against us that day.
Yeah.
Um, I mean the team ERA. You brought up pitching earlier. 2.91, second in the MLB. Um, 17 saves, and we haven't even talked about Clay Holmes, which arguably might be the best closer in baseball. People mention that kid over in Oakland, Mason Miller. He's
Well,
definitely
Mason Miller is also he's a beast too.
yeah. We saw him firsthand when
Yeah.
he struck out the side. I was like, whoa, this
Yeah.
kid's got some stuff.
Yeah.
Um, we got a comment from Carl. He's a Tigers fan. Tigers still here, even though we might suck again. Yep. Enjoy the broom. Uh, we got Joe commenting. We got Dave again saying facts. A lot of time to develop chemistry. Yep. And Mason Miller's definitely a dog, but he needs to get out of Oakland because I don't think they're gonna win anything over there.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about Mike Trout. It's like
Yeah.
I respect his loyalty, and obviously like that's where he grew up, so I understand that that's where he wants to stay, but I always feel like it doesn't do the game any justice when you don't get to see players like that in the off season, the postseason. You
Yeah.
know, you as a fan want to see the best of the best. Obviously, you want to see your team in the playoffs. That's number one. But
Hmm.
if your team is not in the playoffs, you want to see the best of the best, go head to head. And not being able to see Mike Trout in the playoffs is just you know, sucks.
Yeah, it really does. And the fact that, I mean, he just can't stay healthy. That's what sucks about it too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was unfortunate that he had to have that knee surgery. Like you, as a fan of the game, you never want to see that. I mean, I don't know anyone who's not a fan of Mike Trout, but he's
Yeah.
probably my favorite non-Yankee because he just is so crazy talented. And I feel like he just plays the game the right way, you know? So, but yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Like players like that, you want to see them on the fields, you know, all season long.
Hmm.
So it's unfortunate that, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Um, my favorite non-Yankee is Bryce Harper.
Yeah, I
I,
like
yeah,
him.
I've been a big fan of his since I was in high school. Seeing him on the Sports Illustrated and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And his journey's been crazy too.
Yeah.
He's off to a good start too. Ever
Yeah.
since coming off the paternity list, he's just hitting home runs like it's his job. Um, Dave said, "Come to Boston, Miller."
No
He
thank
wants to win, dude. He wants to win. Carl said, "You don't need Miller." Joe said, "Get Trout out of there, 100%." This guy Joe, he was a Nationals fan because he's from the DC area, and then he hit me up and he was like, "Hey Teddy, I gotta find a new team." Like, so right now he's just watching to see how everything pans out, and then he'll pick a team. We
good
got Carl.
for his new squad.
Yeah, yeah. Carl said, "Bring Trout to Detroit." That still won't help you, man. You got to get Javi out of there first. Uh, Dave, he responded to Carl. Yes, we do. We need a bullpen and defense. Trout and Philly. Yes, yes. Trout and Philly. That's
I would support that.
yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely. All right. So there's our Yankee recap of the season so far. Now let's get into some questions that I got for you.
Sure.
Who is your favorite Yankee of all time?
Uh, I never like answering this question because I don't really like to have favorites. Especially like current Yankees. There's so many. There's so many just like lovable guys on this team right now. But growing up, my two favorites were Derek Jeter, of course, and Bernie Williams. Those were like my absolute two favorites. Also have lots of love for, you know, the rest of the core four, Mo, Posada, Andy Pettit, you know. We had such a great team growing up in the 90s and early 2000s, and but if I had to pick a favorite, growing up those are my two favorites, like hands down. Like my those are my guys. Currently I I don't really want to say like a favorite, but how could it not be Judge?
Yeah,
You know, like how could it not be Judge? But I just there's just like I said, there's a lot of lovable guys on this team, like Rizzo and Stanton and DJ Cole, you know, there's Glaber. There's just like there's so many guys on this team that you want to root for. And Soto. I
yeah,
mean,
of course.
I've been a fan for Soto for a long time. Never thought we would ever make it happen to make him a Yankee. So I'm just enjoying every single moment right now of him being a Yankee. Hopefully it's long term, but you know, you never know.
Yeah, there was actually some news that came out today. Boris said that he would love to sit down with Cashman and have that talk. So, Cashman, stop whatever you're doing and sit down
Yeah,
with that man at the
yeah,
table
yeah. We'll pay $50 for the chicken buckets, like just to make it happen.
every single time. Every.
It's so worth it. Like just make it happen.
Mm-hmm. Yep, definitely. Um, so what made you a Yankee fan?
So my dad and my grandpas from both my sides of the family, and my uncles are all like diehard Yankees fans. So, and actually, I have to shout out to my mom because she was actually the reason I went to my first Yankees game at 8 months old. Not that I remember at 8 months old, but I was told that. So yeah, growing up, going to games, watching games. Um, when my uncles and my dad got like a Friday night package, so they were going all the time. So I just grew up going to games with my dad and my uncles, and so it's like it's the love for the team and the game, and it's just also something that has always like bonded like me with my dad and my uncles. So, you know,
Yeah.
it's like a family thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. When I was younger, I lived in New York. I lived in the Bronx,
Okay.
and my, my mom's favorite player was, of course, Derek Jeter.
Yeah.
Um, my favorite player was Derek Jeter. Um, I wore number two, played shortstop. Did
Yep.
all, so I used to have his cleats when I was younger when they first came out. So I mean, that's just what it was for me. Uh, Dave with a little update: 4 stolen bases tonight for Ellie De La Cruz. Wow.
He's also a really good, really just insane player.
Yeah, he's a freak.
Yeah. There's a lot of beasts out there.
Yeah, but none like the Yankees.
No.
Um, and Joe's got a question for you. Are you from New York?
Me? Yes, I'm from New York. Born and raised.
And what is your favorite memory as a Yankee fan?
Oh gosh, there is a lot. I will say that I am definitely blessed to have experienced a lot of really great moments as a Yankee fan. So my favorite moment that I've like been to a game,
Yeah.
um, I would have to say the Mr. November game is my favorite game.
Okay.
So it is the Mr. November game, but is also known as the Tino game to me and my uncles. So my dad wasn't able to make that game. So I ended up getting his ticket to go to the game. So it was me and two of my uncles. We sat the literal last row in the upper deck, like we were basically on the roof of the stadium. And the old stadium just had a different vibe to it, a different energy. And if you remember this game, it was right after 9/11.
Mm.
So everything I feel like was intensified. And obviously, you always want to win a championship, right? You always want to win for your city. But this was just like a different moment because of everything that like our city had just gone through, and I feel like we were still in this like mourning, and like we just wanted something so badly to like cheer for, and it was just crazy. So anyway, the Tino game, why we call it that, there was a guy sitting all the way at the end of the row, and every time Tino would come up to bat, he would like scream his name so loud that I feel like Tino could have heard him, honestly. And so when Tino hit that home run, oh my God, our entire row just like jumped up and was like jumping on top of him. And he was jumping up and down and screaming. And like, so that's why we call it the Tino game. But fast forward to midnight, obviously. Now it's November baseball. And Jeter hits that home run. And I can't even describe, I don't feel like there's, and I've been to a lot of like great games. I can't describe a moment like that that's ever just been like everything about it. Like I said, where we were as a city, what we were like, so desperately like wanting, and the way the old stadium used to shake was like you could probably feel it in the street. Like it was just next level, the energy, like everything. It was just I can't even really describe it, but it was a top moment, especially Jeter being like my favorite player, like him and Bernie. But everything about that moment for me and that game was just it was just I don't know, super special. So that has to be the top. I mean, I have a lot of a lot of special memories, but that one has to be the top for me.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. I
Yeah.
remember that game. Joe said, "What's your favorite Yankees versus Red Sox memory?"
Mm. I don't know. We've had a lot of battles between the Yankees and the Red Sox through the years. I do remember this though. So in the old stadium, I remember there was like a tunnel that would connect from the stadium to like the parking lot or something like that. And you're not gonna like this because you're a Red Sox fan. Is he the one that's a Red Sox fan?
No, he's a free agent.
Oh,
Dave is a Sox fan.
I like that. Um, so there was like a tunnel that would like connect, and so the last time at this point in time before they won the World Series, most recently, the last time they won the World Series was 1918. So we would always, the fans would just always start this chant, this 1918 chant, and I loved it. It was great. And after they won, I was like, that sucks. They can't do the chant anymore. The 1918 chant is like, it's done now. We can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
But there was, yeah, I don't know if I have like a favorite, but I do appreciate the rivalry that we had for so long. Because as much as I've hated the Red Sox for like my entire life, um, it made it really fun. And like rivalries, as much as you hate the other team, it just makes it exciting, right? Because if it's like a series that's not, competitive, or there's no like bad blood, it's just like, okay, cool. Obviously you want to get the win. But when there's this like competitive nature, this like hatred towards each other, like, and they were good in the 90s, like the Red Sox were really good. We were really good. So
Mhm.
like being able to go back and forth and just battle with these teams, like I guess that was my best memory, being able to battle back and forth with the Red Sox for all these years,
Yeah.
give us something to be entertained by and to look forward to. Like I would always look forward to the Red Sox series. Like that was always like that was always high on my list when I would
Yeah.
look at the schedule every season.
Yeah, definitely. And then the Red Sox fan that you were talking about, he said them losing four straight to us being up 3-0. That's the best one. That's the worst one, Dave. That's the worst one
Yeah,
for us.
that's
Fan.
painful to me.
All right.
That's still hurts. I don't
Yeah.
yeah, I don't want to talk about that.
Um, and then he said 2018 now. When was the last time y'all got one asking for a friend?
All right.
2000,
All right.
2004.
Okay. All right. Listen, all I'm going to say, since you wanted to go there, is that how many times have you won? And how many times have we won?
Mm,
That's all I got
preach,
to
preach.
say.
And when they won in 2018, they were accused of using Apple Watches. So
True. That's also true. I mean, I'm not going to take it there, but I'm not against it either.
yeah, definitely. Joe's got one more question. How proud of you are the Yankees for bouncing back from that terrible season last year?
Oh, man. Last year just felt weird because, I mean, like I said, I've grown up watching the Yankees. We're always in the playoffs. So not getting in the playoffs was such a weird feeling. It was terrible. Like, especially after the season ended, I was like, this is weird. Like, it's weird to watch playoff baseball and the Yankees to not be in it. And granted, in the most recent years, they haven't gotten super far, but it's just still weird. Like, they're always in the postseason. So, um, but I will say this, I've always had faith in my team. And I know last season was obviously a terrible season, but and people don't like to use injuries as an excuse, like, and that's what they say, that it's an excuse, but it's a fact. Let's be honest. And yes, it's part of a game, but there were so many huge injuries. Like not having Aaron Judge for almost 2 months was such a major key point to that season, and he like they say, where Judge goes, like the team goes.
Yep.
And I feel like that was a huge thing. Like with Judge out, I feel like it kind of dampened the vibe of the whole team and the energy. And I feel like that was just such a huge thing. But that being said, I feel like if there wasn't the injuries that we had, we would have had like a much better season. But I am super proud of these guys because they have been putting in so much work in the off season. They started early. I think he said they started in like November or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the guys went down to Tampa early November, December, January, like way before spring training, and have just been putting in the work. And that just shows you how hungry they are and their determination to get to the World Series, to get to the playoffs this year. And so yeah, I'm super proud of them. I think their hard work is paying off. And I don't think it always does. Like I feel like you could put in the work, but it doesn't always show through. Like Stan had not a good season last year, but I feel like he's one of those guys that's always putting in the work. But sometimes, unfortunately, I feel like you get a bad break. You know what I mean? So I feel like this year, all the hard work that they put in the off season is paying off, and I love to see that for them.
Yeah, definitely. And for my last question, what are your expectations for the rest of the year?
Well, now they're high.
Right.
I mean, going into the season, they were high because I knew the kind of team that we had. And like I said, last year, I knew that we had a team. And this is the thing I will say. Everyone always comes for Cashman because they always say that he doesn't build a championship team. But what I think that people don't realize enough is how hard it is to not only get to the World Series, but to win the World Series. And I think a lot of fans in the 90s, they grew up with that dynasty. So it's like, yeah, 96, 98, 99, 2000. Like, okay, well, it's possible. And you grew up watching that team. So it's like, it almost seems like, not that it's easy, but kind of in a way, like it should be done.
Mm-hmm.
It's expected because
Yeah.
and listen, you could have the highest payroll. You could have literally that you could have it 1 through 9 in the lineup, all stars, but that doesn't guarantee that you're going to win a championship team. Like, yes, talent, but also there's a little bit of luck that goes into that too. You know what I mean? When you get hot. So I feel like Cashman has put championship caliber teams on the field, but I feel like the biggest thing has been them being able to stay healthy and stay on the field. So, but with that being said, I've had confidence in them last year, but coming into this year, I really had confidence. Like seeing how they were doing in spring training, like they just all looked really good and their chemistry was just off the charts. And so I have a lot of faith. I mean, think about how well they were doing up until like a week ago without Judge, like before Judge was like locked in,
Mm-hmm.
without Cole. Like that's kind of crazy. Like I
Yep.
think health is the biggest thing. If you can stay healthy, especially with this team, like you can do damage. Like you have Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, and Stan all on the same team.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like
Ridiculous.
that's an insane lineup. And then you have other guys on there that are just really doing well, like Verdugo and Volpe. And like I said, I think as long as they stay healthy, this team they're gonna do some special things.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with you there.
Yeah.
I expect them to win it all this year. I know the non-Yankee fans say, "Oh, this is our year," but I mean,
Yeah.
this team, like you said, the lineup is just ridiculous. I don't want to be a starting pitcher going up against the Yankees,
Yeah, no.
especially like we just swept the Twins. They threw out Pablo Lopez. He's top 5 in the Cy Young race right now, and we beat him. We beat on Screwball the other day. And he's leading in the Cy Young right now. So I mean, we're facing top guys. We beat Corbin Burns.
Yeah,
Like
that was huge. That was
like,
really huge. Like,
yeah.
and Verlander.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
I
Yep.
mean, Steele going toe to toe with Verlander also, I feel like hasn't been talked about enough, but that's kind of crazy. I know he's up there in age, but he's still Justin Verlander,
Yeah.
at the end of the day. He's not like a pitcher that's not like, he's still kind of a big deal, so to be
Definitely.
able to go toe to toe with Justin Verlander, that is so huge. And also, like, scoring 7 runs against him, that was the
Beautiful.
thing of beauty for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially getting it started with that Verdugo home run. Like,
Yeah.
and then I made a reel today on Instagram. Ben Verlander, he was talking trash on his podcast, saying that the Yankees don't own the Astros as of now. But I mean,
Yeah, I know he says that. And listen, that's his brother, so
yeah.
I understand. I get it. I understand he's not gonna talk trash about his brother. Not that I expect him to or want him to. I do
Hmm.
think though that he is, in other times, he's been, what's the word I'm looking for? Like fair, I guess is the best way I could, because I can't think of the other word I want to say. But yeah, I feel like he's been fair when it comes to the Yankees. But I also think his brother plays for the Astros, and he's gonna not say that. He's not. I can't picture him coming out and being like, "Yeah, the Yankees definitely own the Astros right now." He's not gonna say that.
Yeah.
But I will say this: the Astros are still the Astros. Like right
Hmm.
now, they're not playing well, obviously, but they still have guys that are still great players. Like Alex Bregman, great player. I don't like to admit these things, but facts are facts. Altuve
Yep.
still plays great. You know what I mean? So I don't, and that's the thing. Not that I know how well they're going to do this season, but I don't expect them to be playing like this the whole season. I do
Yeah.
feel like I do feel like they'll get it together a little bit. Hopefully not too much, but you know.
Yeah, definitely. They have one of the most underrated guys that nobody really talks about, Kyle Tucker.
Yeah. Yep.
He's leading the league in home runs right now with 13. And everybody wants to talk about Alvarez and Altuve and Bregman, but they
But
never talk about.
they still do. They have a lot of players on there that are
Yeah,
still really good players. So honestly, they could turn it around. I'm hoping they
yeah,
don't play, but
of
I still
course, of
will
course.
to some degree. Yeah.
Yeah. And Carl, Carl said, "Leave Screwball out of this." He scored 2 runs off him. It was enough. It was
Yeah.
enough. It was enough. Shelby Miller's the one you rocked. I mean, enjoy the broom, dude. And then he said, "I mess with Kyle Tucker." Yeah, Kyle Tucker. He's underrated player in all of MLB.
No, yeah, he is a really great player. He is. No
That,
doubt. I will give credit where credit's due always, whether I like the team or not. And, yeah, he's definitely one of those players that I feel like is going to be a good player for a really long time.
yeah, definitely. All right. Well, that's all we got for you guys today. Lauren, do you want to give your last words or and tell people where they can follow you on social media?
Last words. Um, I don't know. I'm excited to see Garrett Cole come back. I guess that's where I will leave it off. Um, yeah, I think that is gonna be a game changer. I also feel like the crazy part is that he's been injured, right? But he's still been around the clubhouse and around the guys and the team, and still travels with the team. And I think that says a lot about him and his relationship with the players, and his will to win and how much he wants to win. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many guys that could be in his position that wouldn't do what he's doing, but he cares about winning and he cares about his teammates, and that is huge. And I feel like that's why it's hasn't been as bad as we expected with him being injured, right? So I am extremely excited to see Cole back on the mound, And I think that he will have a great season coming off a Cy Young season. So yeah, I'm excited to see him come back and do big things for us. And mostly I'm on Instagram. You can find me. It's 27 rings. It's spelled out 20, the number 7, and rings. Because that's how many rings we got. In case I had to remind some of you people, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, right. One thing that we didn't get to touch on was the Martian's back.
Yeah, so
That's interesting. That's really interesting on what Boone is gonna do with that outfield.
yeah, so like they say, it's a good problem to have.
Mhm.
But yeah, man, it's tough because he came up last year and he got off to a crazy hot start. Did he homer in his first at bat, I think? I don't.
Yeah, off of Verlander.
Yeah, so like that's crazy. Your first MLB at bat to hit a home run. Um, but yeah, it's tough because he is a great player. But I was listening to the game. I think it was either yesterday or the day before, and Michael Kay was saying that uh I don't think that I think they're probably gonna keep him down there for now because you have Verdugo. He's playing really well. Obviously, you're gonna keep Soto and Judge where they are. So it's hard. Like if everything's working, like what can you do? You know what I mean? You don't wanna mess with what's working, right?
Yeah.
Like if everything is kind of meshing well together, you don't want to disturb it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. That's tough. And
Mhm.
it's tough for him too because he had an injury, right? He
Yeah.
finally made his way up to the big leagues and then you get injured like an injury like that. And then you obviously work so hard to come back, but it's just like I don't know. I'm glad I had to make that decision. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, and then you got Spencer Jones as well. Like that kid's a freak.
I so yeah, that's another thing. Like if you keep Soto, right, which we all hope that we do, because he's amazing, right? Like I don't know what you do in that spot. Like
Yeah.
I don't
Yep.
know, because Spencer Jones is a crazy good talent too. Like
Yep.
you don't want to trade him. You have to figure out what to do to make him work. Someone had posted something about training him to do first base, and I'm not against that. You know,
I
I
don't
mean,
hate that.
he's a great outfielder, but listen, there's lots of all-star players that played in the outfields that are playing infields now. Mookie Betts,
Bryce
Bryce
Harper.
Harper. Yeah,
Like
so like listen, it could happen. If you got to do what you got to do, you know. But like I said, I'm glad I don't have to make that decision.
yeah, right. All right, guys. This was a great episode. Thank you for coming out, Lauren. Appreciate
Oh,
you
thanks for
taking
having
the time.
yeah.
Yeah. And just want to play one sound, the most beautiful sound ever.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
Music to my ears.
All right, guys. We'll catch you on the next episode of BWT. Peace out.
Bye.